Okay, let's go to Peter in Flat Rock. And Peter says, we closed on our home late last month. The sellers are in the home until another 60 days. We just found out that the city requires a certificate of occupancy after the closing. No city inspection was ever ordered, by the way. Also, we contacted the city and the sellers will not let anyone into the home for an inspection. What do we do now? So just a side note again on that last statement,
Wow.
the sellers will not let anyone into the home for the inspection. It could be due to the coronavirus. And for me personally, I'm surprised that the city of Flat Rock was even willing to do an inspection right now. I'm in Mount Clemens. The property that we want to purchase is in Mount Clemens, and that city is not conducting any sort of C of O inspections at the time. So anyway, Peter's question is, what do we do now? He didn't know prior to the closing that he was going to need a certificate of occupancy, a C of O.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Just the first thing is you don't need to be an attorney. Just any real estate investor, if you're just buying a piece of property, you do need to know, does the city where you're buying the property require an inspection? Okay, a certificate of occupancy. Most often a certificate of occupancy is required on a rental property. I'm not familiar with the code, like, you know, every city and every township has its own code, right? So you'd have to look up in advance what's going on. So I would think that Flat Rock doesn't have that, but okay, they do. For you know, for all intents and purposes for this question, let's assume they do.
Okay.
The first thing is I'm absolutely, you know, it's not that I'm shocked, but I'm definitely surprised that a realtor did not look this up, you know, when they were about to close. A good realtor, I don't know if they bought it with a real estate agent, but the real estate agent should know, is the city one that requires city search, as they say? Okay, that's number one. Number two, the title company also, you will check into that. Okay, it's not the title company's responsibility, it's more like the realtor's responsibility. I am not here to try and lay any blame on anybody, but somebody definitely dropped the ball if the city cert is required in that municipality. The problem you have, whether it's related to coronavirus or not, is you have people now who, the sellers are now what we call tenants. They're in that property. They don't have to do anything, okay? I don't even know how, you know, this again is where people get in trouble. Holdover sellers, you better have a very good addendum or an agreement as to what the former buyer, now homeowner, can do with that property. They're technically a landlord. You just can't run in there. You can't, you know, open the doors when these people aren't around. I mean, it's a violation of landlord-tenant laws. So you do have some issues there. I would like to know how much money was held back in escrow. I'd like to know what type of default remedies there are. Again, this is a question that's not easily answered. What I think the steps I would take, I'm not sure if I could tell you definitively, but I would, number one, pick up the phone and get with my realtor, the realtor's broker, and the seller's realtor and realtor's broker, and see if there's some way that everybody can come to some type of an agreement to get this resolved. Okay. I don't know if there's a legal remedy at this point, because honestly, it just sounds like somebody really dropped the ball. But here's the thing. I don't think it's a legal approach on this. This is from a real estate perspective as a real estate investor. This is one where you don't need to have the force or the threat of an attorney. This is one where you go to the city once they open, and you tell them what happened, and you explain what happened. Okay. Okay. Because, and you kind of throw yourself on the mercy. I know nobody, you know, anybody watching here might go, gosh, there's a legal answer here. No. The best way to do this without having to incur, you know, legal fees and going to court and frustration, go to the city and talk to them about the problem and what happened. Throw yourself, give a little, ask for mercy. Most cities really do want to work with you. They're not there to hurt you, but you do need an inspection before you move in. Yeah. Boy, that's twisted and it's really hard to get resolved.
No, that's good advice though, because it's just